Good morning, everybody. It gives me enormous pleasure to announce that the rematch is on. Warriors Call will see Britain's very own IBF super middleweight champion Carl the Cobra Froch take on Danish legend Mikkel Kessler, WBA champion, in a huge unification match here at the O2 on May the 25th. The fight, which was recently described by our own trade paper as one of the greatest fights of the modern era, will see these two warriors do it all over again, live on Sky Sports box office, Viasat throughout Scandinavia, HBO in America, and over 100 countries around the world. Tickets will go on sale at 12 p.m. in around half an hour's time from the O2 website. We're expecting a huge demand. We're set up for around 17,000. It's going to be a sellout event. It's going to be one of the biggest nights British boxing seen in many, many years, and it gives me huge pleasure to announce this fight for you here today. We're live on Sky Sports right now, so we're going to open it up to the fighters to say a few words. And firstly, the man to my right, who's got here because he's a pure fighter, a true legend of the sport, current IBF super middleweight champion, Carl Froch.
Thank you, Eddie. A pleasure to be here today. Well, explain what this fight means to me is probably what people are going to be asking. It's difficult to put into words and rationalise how much this fight means to me. I mean, I've fought 9 or 10 world title fights back to back, but Mikkel Kessler, the Viking warrior, is a proud man. He's a strong man. He's very tough in every way you want to look at any fighter. He's got everything: toughness, skill, desire, strength, guts, courage, all the things that I've got. So I've got so much respect for this man. But this man inflicted my first ever professional career defeat, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. My head still hits the pillow at night, and I still think about that loss. He took away my world title. He took away everything that meant everything to me at the time. You know, my professional career, as far as I was concerned, was in tatters. Now, I avenged that defeat by winning my world title back in my very next fight. I went through the Super 6 tournament, and I boxed. I mean, people who follow boxing know I've had some epic battles with top level fighters, but I've still not had the chance to avenge the defeat against Mikkel Kessler. So this for me is a chance for me to set the record straight and come close to securing my legacy. I mean, I can't even, it's difficult for me to put into context what this means to me, but my head still hits the pillow and I think about our loss, and it's hurtful and painful. And for me to be given the opportunity to not only defend my title, but right a wrong that happened back in 2010 in Denmark, in Mikkel's country. He's an honourable man. He's coming back over to the UK, as he said he would, to give me a chance to avenge that defeat. So myself and Rob McCracken, we're going to be working meticulously in the gym. We're going to do what we need to do to make sure that I put right that wrong that happened in Herning. And I just can't wait. My blood's boiling. I'm ready to go. I really am.
Thanks, Carl. And over to the 5-time champion of the world, Mikkel, welcome. And say a few words to the British and national press.
Thank you very much, Eddie. I'm ready for this fight too, as Carl says. I had a hard fight in Denmark. I want him to admit I won the fight, because I thought so. And now I told him then, I said, I never got the rematch against Galsaki, so I'm gonna give you the rematch one day. And now we are here, and it happened, and I'm ready for a big war. I said to Carl, I'm ready to go to your home country. I want to show myself as a real fighter. I'm ready for the first time in many years. It's my 3rd fight in 1 year, so I have a incredible good shape now. I'm keeping my shape very good, and I think I'm going to be in my best shape ever in my life when I have to fight Carl. I know he's gonna be in good shape, but I'm gonna be in a much best shape ever. I'm routine, experienced, I have a lot of fights, and I'm just ready to get it on. So,
thank you. And a few questions here from the front.
Carl, as well as perhaps, as you say, righting some wrongs, is this an opportunity for you to put on a career-defining performance?
Most definitely. You know, we know the fight was close, and to answer Mikkel's question, yes, on the night, I admit I got beat by the better man on the night. He beat me fair and square. You have to take into account the fact that we was in Denmark. So any close round is rightfully going to go his way. I've had fights myself in my hometown of Nottingham where when the close rounds, you expect to get the decision. It's the same in any sport, football. You know, did the ball cross the line? The flagman raises the flag because you're at home at Nottingham Forest and you get the decision. You expect that. So Mikkel Kessler is an honourable man. He's coming back to the UK as he said he would, and you know, for me, that's honourable. But it's a fight. It's a fight. I'm desperate to win, and I know I can win. So it means everything to me, career-wise. It's going to secure my legacy. It's as simple as that.
Mikkel, as far as fighting outside of Denmark is concerned, is this a big gamble for you, or are you confident that you'll be able to put on a convincing performance and win the fight?
Of course, I wouldn't be here. It's right, you know. It's sometimes the judges of the fight, you know, if you have your whole crew with you, all your fan, they shout when you get hit and so on. So maybe they will say it gives you a little more home advantage. But of course, I'm here to win, and I know I can win. I've studied Carl a lot after our last fight. I know up to this. I talked to my trainer Jim Montoya, and we are already ready for my lecture for this fight. And it's going good, as I told you, good shape, and I'm not afraid of being here. I think they're treating me very good, and I think we're going to have some good judges and referees. So I hope for the best.
Thanks. Just to talk more briefly about the fight, and you know, this is a real pleasure and an honour to make this fight. And I want to thank Sauerland as well. Kalle will say a few words in a few minutes, but just really to talk about the fight a little bit. You know, this is credit to both men, because it's very easy in this sport to take easier fights, and both guys had the option to do so. You know, both hugely popular in their own country. You know, we had opportunities to fight other fights, but this is a fight that both men wanted, and again, respect to Mikkel for coming over and making this fight. Just to clear up again, this is a unification fight for the IBF and the WBA middleweight title. Both titles will be online, and we want to thank the WBA and of course the IBF for allowing this unification fight to go ahead. Just quickly on Carl Froch, you know, I'm delighted to give him this legacy fight, if you want, because not many fighters, I feel, in the sport deserve these kind of nights and deserve the acclaim that Carl does. You know, he's here and he's here without any preconceived media hype. He's here without any showmanship, really. He's here because he's a pure fighter, and he's achieved what he's achieved because he's a great entertainer through the way that he fights, and I think we need to commend that. This is going to be a huge night. Like I said, we're expecting 17,000 in here. I think we'll sell most of them today. And again, live on Sky Box Office, HBO, which says a huge amount in itself, and Viasat in Scandinavia, and we'll be working with Kalle meticulously to secure all these other territories around the world to make sure they can see this great fight. To say a few words from Team Kessler's side, and again, someone who's been instrumental in us making the fight, I'd like to introduce Kalle Sauerland.
Morning, everyone. First of all, it's great to be on a great stage, two great warriors. I said to Eddie yesterday when I landed, I said, Eddie, do we really need to turn up? You know, I mean, we just should show a rerun of the first fight. You know, it's not often in boxing that after great fights there's a second one, and you know, you never know, potentially a third one. But it's all about both guys cementing legacies, and there was a lot of to's and fro's on the date, and you know, what titles will be at stake. Will it be a unification? Will it not be a unification? But at the end of the day, both guys have a combined titles of I think 8 titles altogether. So for both of them, this is about cementing their legacies. And for anyone who doesn't know about the fight, I suggest just look at the first fight, and it's going to be no different. If anything, they know each other better, and you know, it will be even more brutal. I mean, I even saw one word used to describe the fight as pure violence, and that's something that as a boxing promoter I don't like using those words, but it was a brutal fight, the first one, and I think the second one is going to live up to what the first one was, and even go beyond that.
Thanks, Keller. And Mr. McCracken, MBE. Now, everybody, I think that deserves a little round of applause in itself. The game plan ahead of this fight, another huge challenge for you and Carl.
Yeah, morning. It's fantastic to have the rematch with Mikkel. Everybody here knows what these two fighters are about, so I'm not going to talk about either of them. Two great fighters. Testament to Mikkel that he's here. He could have avoided the fight quite easily, which happens a lot in boxing, but real boxing's about Carl Froch, Mikkel Kessler fighting each other. That's what it's all about. It's going to be a great fight. Very little to choose between the two. Extremely close fight in Denmark. Kessler got the nod, no problem. We're confident Carl will win the fight in the UK. Who knows, maybe we can have a third fight. Hopefully Carl will do the business the 25th. The only thing from my side is we know what we're going to do. We know the training plan already, and Carl's a gladiator as well as a very good fighter. So we're very confident we'll win. And I think a little gauge can be since they boxed. If you look at the level of opposition that Carl Froch has fought, and then look at the opponents Mikkel's fought, and in fairness, Mikkel had an injury and stuff. But I think if you're fighting at the highest of level, time and time again, it stands you in good stead and it keeps you in form. So we're very confident Carl will win. But two great fighters, and what a great night it's going to be the 25th.
Thanks, Robin. It will be the 25th, a great night, and fans can expect a huge undercard as well on this show. I can tell you that every Matchroom fighter has called me since the announcement wanting to be on this undercard. So obviously we've got 4 months to go, but over the next few weeks we'll be taking shape with that undercard, and also including a number of Team Sauerland fighters as well on that card, and trying to match them against a lot of Matchroom fighters as well. So an epic night. Huge production. Sky are going to be pulling out all the stops to make this a fantastic production, fantastic night, huge undercard, and of course capped by, I believe, as Tris Dixon recently said, you know, one of the greatest fights of the modern era. You're about to see it all over again. More intensity, more passion, and more on the line. So we can expect a great night. We're going to open to the floor now for questions.
Eddie, this is the same night as the Champions League final at Wembley. So obviously you're not concerned that that will affect the pay-per-view figures?
No, that's probably a lot of people on Twitter have tried to remind me. They thought I didn't know this was on the Champions League final night. That's very, very deliberate. You've got a huge sporting captive audience at home. Of course, we won't be conflicting with the timings of the Champions League. You know, this fight will take place anywhere between 11:15 and midnight. But for us, you know, part of the decision working with Calla, this is a tried and tested method on a date with a huge football match. It's worked before, it's driven huge numbers, and really it's very, very deliberate to make sure that we've got that huge sporting captive audience sitting at home on their sofa, already at home for the night, to watch a Champions League final and just switch it over and watch another great sporting event. So very, very deliberate. It certainly won't affect the live gate. We know we're going to sell that out very comfortably. So, you know, to hold it on the Champions League night was very, very deliberate.
Question for Carl and Mikkel. Carl, Zoo magazine readers have voted you Britain's coolest man ahead of Prince Harry and Bradley Wiggins. How does that feel? And Mikkel, we know you guys get along really well. Would you agree Carl was Britain's coolest man?
Was Jason Statham in the running?
Yeah, Jason Statham was in there. I think he came a lowly ninth.
What about John Travolta?
John Travolta didn't make it.
No. Well, that's a good win, whichever way you look at it. Britain's coolest man. You know, who else are going to pick? Thanks for that award.
Yes.
Questions, guys? Okay, we're going to have a quick head-to-head photo in front of the backdrop here, then we're going to break for one-on-ones, and Anthony and Johannes will be organising those. Thanks very much for attending, and again, we can't wait till the 25th. Thank you very much.